But once in a while, I'll ask a student, hey, you know what, can I tell your story? One of the stories is the story of Jose. Jose was born and raised in Colombia, rather successful family, but then things changed for him. Jose's a senior business major today. I tell you a little bit more about his story, but I'd rather have Jose tell it. Jose, get up here and tell the rest of your story.
All right. Hello, everyone. As you already may know, my name is Jose Anaya. I was born and raised in the beautiful city of Barranquilla, Colombia. So I'd like to go ahead and give a quick shout out to any Colombianos or Latinoamericanos who are here tonight. Woo! You guys can scream, shout, yeah? Can be proud about our ethnicity. Okay, moving on. I'm proudly attending Biola University as a business marketing senior. And it is a privilege to be here tonight speaking before you all. When I was 9 years old, my family and I were forced to leave our native country and find refuge in the United States. My father used to work for the Colombian government as a veterinarian, and he was closely connected with the community of livestock businessmen and farmland owners there. At the time, these were men who were being targeted by a rebel group that called themselves the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia. At the time, these were men who were just seeking to gain more and more territorial power, and they just kept on threatening all the people who were prominent in their fields and just seeking to dominate them so that they could gain more and more power and perhaps even eventually overthrow the whole government. My dad, being aware of what was going on, decided to step up and do what was right. He spoke out against this rebel group, and he encouraged the farmers and the landowners out in the fields to resist their oppression. It didn't take long for this group to find out about what my dad was doing. So after a series of threats, my dad decided that it was best for our family to leave the country. I can still vividly remember the moment my family and I boarded our plane flight to the United States. I was scared, confused, and overwhelmed by what awaited me in this new, unfamiliar country. But looking back, I know that it was God in His sovereign love and might, welcoming my family and I to the tough yet worthwhile journey He had in store for us. 8 years later, I, the guy who once didn't even know how to say a single sentence in English, was given an acceptance letter to Biola University. I was stoked on life, but there was a slight problem, and that's that I was in need of $8,000 to go to Biola, and I had no idea where to get that money from. Yeah, my parents were wealthy in Colombia. Once we came here, things radically changed. But thankfully, the Lord had surrounded me with a community of people that believed in me and supported me. This was a group of about 150 low-income members of a small Hispanic church in East Los Angeles. Together, this group gathered $7,000 for me to come to Biola. I remember the moment my pastor brought me up in front of the whole congregation, and I was in tears as members of the congregation were raising their hands one by one. Some giving $100, others giving $300, and some even $1,000. These were like the bi-weekly incomes of some of these people here, or even the weekly incomes, and they were just generously giving it because they believed in what the Lord had in store for me. With the help of a church matching scholarship that Biola gave me and some additional financial aid, I eventually had everything paid for. When I came to Biola, I was again surrounded by a community of people that also believed in me. Both students and faculty members challenged me to take on opportunities to impact this world for Christ. One of the opportunities that I seized during my first 3 years in college was working with a nonprofit organization named the California School Project. The California School Project envisions a day when every student has not only heard the gospel of Christ, but is also awakened to the love of God. During my time with them, I had the privilege of leading over 60 Biola University volunteer leaders in helping Christian high school students all around Southern California reach their campuses for Christ. I also had the privilege of launching a new chapter of this organization at the University of Southern California, also known as USC. Now you might be thinking right now, wow, these are some amazing things that Jose has done. But let me tell you something, this would have never been possible without the help of a man named Warren Willis, the founder of the California School Project. This entrepreneur with over 50 years of full-time ministry experience did exactly what I was in need of and what many other members of my generation need from leaders like you. He mentored me. He inspired me with stories of his life. He empowered me to dream big. And he challenged me to take on growing opportunities to impact this world for Christ. If it weren't for this man, I would have never had the confidence to do what I did with the California School Project and reach thousands of lives with the gospel of Christ. Another man who has had a great influence in my life is Harold Tabor. Some of you here tonight may know who he is. For those who don't, he is the former president of the Coca-Cola Bottling Company in Bakersfield, California, and now leads the mentorship program for the MBA department at my university. Even though I didn't have anything to give in return, Harold devoted time to mentor me. He not only opened my eyes to see business's mission, but he also taught me what it looks like to be a godly leader in the marketplace. Thanks to him, I was able to embrace the management internship that I had with Target Corporation this past summer as my mission field and engage many non-believers in special ways. Both him and Warren Willis bridged any generational gaps and extended to me the counsel, the friendship, the transparency, and the support that I was hungering for, that many other members of my generation today are hungering for as well, and desiring from leaders like you. If it weren't for mentors and leaders like Harold and Warren Willis, I wouldn't be here tonight, standing as a representative of our rising generation. Now, I want you to think of a time when you were 21. Go ahead, don't be afraid to think how back that was. It's okay. You guys have it? Memory in mind? Okay, great. What were your goals? Your hopes and dreams? Who supported you? Who helped you get to where you're at now? I want you to keep thinking of the person that just came to mind. My generation wants you to be that person in our lives. You see, we need you to mentor us, to teach us, to tell us stories of your lives, and to cheer us on as we take on opportunities to impact this world for Christ. So my plea to you, seasoned leaders, is come alongside of my generation. Create safe places where we can come in, where we feel invited, where we don't feel intimidated, where we can ask questions and find solid answers, or we can receive support and grow together, both young and old. Yes, we can grow together, and that's what we want. We want to grow together with you. You see, we don't just need your networks or your references letters or your firms to hire us. More than any of that, we need you to take us under your wing. Yeah, we need you to take us under your wing, to speak into our eagerness and inexperience, and to love and to teach us, just as Paul did with Timothy. If you do this, our effectiveness in using our business platform to impact this world for Christ will far exceed what we ever imagined. God's doing something huge in the marketplace today, and I'm sure many of you here have probably gotten a taste of it, but I want to see something bigger happen as we join forces. Amen. Together with you guys can clap. Together with you, my generation wants to join in. We want to be standing alongside you on the day that we get to go to heaven. And the Lord tells us, well done, our faithful servant. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done beforehand. And my question to each and one of you here tonight, in response to the partnership that we want to have with you, is, are you in? Thank you.
Jose and Anaya, the rising generation. Whatever we can do in our worlds in higher education to link with you, so these rising young Christian leaders who have dreams and visions, aspirations, talent, thoughtful minds, are articulate, can write, can speak, can engage with others, are honest and ethical, but they need you. So lesson number 1, enlarge your soul, not your role. Lesson number 2, invest in people more than programs. Like Jose, that has a deep sense of conviction and a deep sense of courage. And may the spirit of mentoring continue to work its way through this God-ordained organization, Terrence.